This episode of the Closeout Bodyboarding podcast is proudly presented to you by Bodyboarding Victoria and Limited Edition Fins. Shane, I've always wanted to know, what's the big difference between the original Limited Edition fins and the new Psylocke fins?
Benny, the Psylocke fins are bigger and wider than the original LE foot pockets. So basically when you try them on, they'll actually be a size up. Psylocke's fit really well in half sizes to the original fins. So I used to not be able to fit into the larges in the original LE fins, but I fit perfectly into the Psylocke large. So I just recommend everyone, if you weren't comfortable in the original LEs, go in and try on a new Psylocke's.
Awesome. Thanks, Shane. Back to you in the studio. Welcome back to the Closeout Bodyboarding podcast, an audio experience put together by a few good mates, basically to just talk about all things bodyboarding. My name's Benny Oborn. I'm one of your hosts. We are coming to you live here from beautiful Robe in South Australia. We're over here for the Robe Bodyboard Bash. This is our third year coming across here. Joining me, as usual, in our very questionable hotel room is Shane Britton, Chris Watson, and also a very, very special guest, Adam Williams. We've also got Dan Redfern hiding out in our modular bathroom. So if you hear anything in the background, we apologise in advance. Guys, it's good to have you here. Obviously, a big shout out to the crew at the Robe Hotel for looking after us this weekend. I say that preemptively.
You're hoping that we get the discount. You've given them a shout out before we've secured the discount. What are you doing?
He's counting his chickens before they hatch.
We also thank BMW, Lamborghini,
West End.
West End.
Jesus.
First and foremost, fellas, it's good to see you. I mean, for Chris, myself and Shane, this is the first opportunity we've had to actually catch up, to have a chat. We've all been pretty busy, and Ads, obviously you're a lot further west than us over in Warrnambool, but also long overdue to join us on the panel, mate. So thanks for being here.
Good to be here.
Lots to catch up on. But first, let's just kind of go around the circle. What's everyone been up to? Shano?
Well, we have seen each other. Yeah, we've
Can you remember it?
No, I copped a mind wipe. But thanks for coming to my 50th birthday, boys.
Yeah,
that
buddy.
was good. But Benny successfully gave me shot after shot at the 50th, and
I like the way
I ran out of roofies.
we did plan on doing a potty the next day, and Shane was sick in bed.
Shane was not well.
Shane was not well.
I like how the shot started off as vodka and then all of a sudden they're tequila.
There's that,
What else was there?
But we won't talk about that.
Oh,
I don't need to protect the integrity of my reputation.
We actually all were at the pool party as well, and we had every intention on recording a podcast and we didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we have. Yeah.
We're not very good at this podcasting, dear.
Time management's poor, to say the least. So you're a year older. You've hit a milestone, Shano. How you feeling?
Old.
Mate, I mean, you're still past 100 surfs for the year. It's impressive.
108 already.
Oh, hey.
Still a couple of months to go.
Jesus.
He's making up for the rest of us collectively.
Mate,
I surfed off more than you guys combined.
Oh,
Yeah.
mate, that's not hard.
Yeah. No, that's probably right.
Yeah.
What have you been up to? Which countries have you visited in the last few months?
Rockhampton, Hunter Valley. No, I've just been in Australia.
You did England, Ireland, Scotland.
Yeah, of course. I forgot about that too. No, I
Forgettable family holiday. Jesus.
I spent a month in the UK and Ireland with the family, which was really cool. I'll tell you what, spending a month in a hotel room with your family can get a little bit heated at times. But it was really, really good to give the kids that sort of experience. I loved Ireland. I thought Ireland was really cool and I can't wait to go back. I saw some waves. I had no surf gear. Normal sort of deal.
Big shout out to Courtney, by the way, for putting up with you.
Oh,
on a
100%.
big family trip.
Yeah. Courtney's like, I'm going to drive some of the trip as well. We did a big road trip and started off in London, drove all the way up to Inverness and then down to a wedding in Scotland and then across to Ireland. And I think we did 3,000 Ks all up. And yeah, Courtney's like, I'll share the driving. Didn't drive the car once. Not at all. So, no, it was really good. And then on the
Sounds like my trip over here with Anya.
But once we left the UK, and then we spent 4 days in Singapore as well on the way home, which went to Sentosa Island. And I'd been there a fair bit with work, and it was really cool to sort of show the family, like...
Four floors?
4 floors. No, I said this is...
Mr. Chris, welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, the old 4 floors. If you know, you know. But no, it's just really cool to show the kids different cultures and different regions. I want to make sure they can see that sort of stuff. And then I actually went to the US in September. Completely forgot.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Jet setter. You know, unlike Benny, I think he's had 15 jobs since
I thought it was
since the last catch-up potty we've done.
I thought it was 20.
Stop. Hang on, hear me out.
He's got one long-term job. It's a subscription, and it's $9.95 a month.
No, it's the same job. It just kept evolving. That's the problem. But great news is done and dusted as of what? Sunday afternoon at 4:30 p.m. I received a very pleasant WhatsApp message from the general manager of that business. So go fuck yourself. But pretty glad to be moving on to something bigger and better.
Wait till the end of this podcast.
Oh, wow.
But look, mate, it's been the last 6 months has been probably, I think, the busiest I've ever been in my working career. And obviously, as most of you guys know, I work with my wife, so that's put a fair bit of pressure on us as a family. It sucked for our kids. Probably the biggest thing is, we missed on spending some really quality time with them over the last school holidays, which they basically just followed us around to work every day, which, that didn't bother them. But for us as parents, that sucked.
Yeah.
That's not what not being parents is about. So, obviously they've decided to tag along on this little...
Yeah, so you've chosen to bring him on a boys' weekend.
Yep. Psych.
Well played, sir.
Well done.
No, look, we just needed to get out of town.
Were you chased?
The pitchforks and torches were getting closer and closer.
Bow and arrows with flames on them.
This is getting out of hand, isn't it?
With mates like us who needs enemies.
Yeah. But we're obviously just taking our time. Not really on any deadline to get home now. So we might, after this event this weekend, we're not sure where we'll go next, whether we'll go home or might have been head up to Adelaide for a couple of days. We'll see what happens.
Lucky you've got those new battery terminals on the Hilux there, Benny.
That's right, mate. That's right.
Yep.
Expensive battery terminals.
Expensive battery terminals.
Anyway, enough about me. Let's segue to a very, very special guest. First time podcaster, big time listener. Obviously, big part of the backbone of Bodyboarding Victoria. Obviously, he's got his own big story. Another kind of immigrant from the east coast of Australia that we're more than happy to claim as our own. Does a lot of great work for Warrnambool City Council, and again also in bodyboarding in general. An absolute DK expert, Adam Williams.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, buddy.
This is going to be weird because after every podcast, you send me a text going, "Now that was a great one, boys."
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to do it on this one.
Yeah, what the fuck happened with this?
No, this time we'll ask you. We'll ask his missus.
He's
Anna.
a Closeout super fan.
Yeah. Yeah, podcast junkie, really.
Yeah. That just proves how much work you really get done in the office, if you've got all that time up your sleeve.
Council working, mate. Flat out.
It helps him.
One person types at a desk and 4 of them stand around watching.
One of them's got a stop-go sign.
Not far off the trip, guys. Not far off the trip.
Mate, so what's been happening? Look, I'll be brutally honest. We're going to sit down with you at another time as well and do a far more in-depth potty with you. But for now, just give us a bit of a recap. You've had a pretty busy year bodyboarding. You've been all over the place. Obviously, you've done a lot of behind-the-scenes work with our events, in particular, second state title and also the DKS State of Origin pool party. I'll be brutally honest. You've probably done more work than most of us combined in keeping the doors open. But mate, you're a busy man down in Warrnambool as well.
Yeah, it's been flat out. If I sort of wind back, say back to the pool party. So it was pool party, a week later, DKS in Port, bit of a break. The big wave comp in Warrnambool, like help the guys judge that, which was sick. Then only last weekend, week in Port, caught up some good mates from Newey at Sydney Pool for the first time. And, a week or two later, I find myself here in South Australia, right?
I'm really looking forward to talking to you and Shane about Sydney Pool. You haven't been yet, have you, Chris?
No, I'm going to be honest. Every time that I've landed in Sydney, I haven't had the time or just hadn't thought about it. I haven't even surfed the other pool. I didn't even get to surf in DKS.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, that was in between even the Tradie Challenge and the AGM.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Tradie Challenges.
So you did surf the pool. You've had a shocker.
No, I mean, I haven't surfed.
Did Benny surf you drinks at my 50th as well?
You actually didn't drink, did you?
No, it was, let's just say there was a bit of a debacle at home and I needed to, you know how it is, Benny. Sometimes you've got to sacrifice a few things.
Just blink twice if you need rescuing, mate.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'll tell you what, by the time I left Shane, I reckon it was 10 o'clock, maybe 9:45.
Mate,
he wouldn't have remembered my name.
I tell you what, that night, obviously the pub closed early, which was
devastating.
In hindsight, probably a
good thing for me.
Probably a blessing, mate. Yeah.
I had to laugh because that night I told Shane I was going home, and then I went to say goodbye again, and he's like, "What, you going home?" I'm like, "I've already had this conversation with you." Oh dear,
mate. I mean, tell us a little bit more about I guess not your journey beyond this, but this year, like, mate, you've been in the water non-stop.
Yeah, go right back to the start of the year. A couple of state title rounds, which is sick. Baron Viner in Central Coast, which is always a good comp, and near where I grew up in Caves Beach, so it's a bit of a catch-up, boys' weekend, wind back, that sort of stuff. Yeah, then that sort of, rolled into the pool party, which, Watto and I and a heap of others sort of involved, like Pico and Wade were doing in the background, so, yeah.
Shit, you guys did a great job. Like, that was a fucking amazing event. Like, I think that is by far the best pool event that I've been at.
That's probably one of the best DK events.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, the feedback from all the guys, like, the buzz, like, next week at DKS at Port and, different podcasts getting around and all the feedback's just been phenomenal.
Yeah, well, so Watto and Adam, just tell us a bit more. Like, you guys organised it, along with Clayton Pickworth and Wade Wiedenbaum.
Yeah.
Give us some feedback of how you guys think the day went. Because, it's easy for us to sit back and go, it seemed really successful, but you guys had to organise it behind the scenes and everything as well. How did it sort of pan out for you in the end?
I was really quite happy.
You were quite sick on the day too.
I was very sick. I'd come back home, I think the Monday beforehand, and from being away for a month, and I was so sick. Like, I was planning on surfing in it, and I didn't surf. Like, I knew probably by Wednesday.
You just got back from the family holiday,
yeah.
Right?
And
which, as we know, they're not family holidays. They're just looking after your kids in a different country.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And I was really sick. Like, I had a pretty chesty cough. I had, like, early on in the piece, I had all sorts of things and hadn't slept well. And I really wanted to surf in it, and I just had to, you sit back and have a long, hard look, and you're like, it's better to give your spot to someone else. But I wanted to see that event succeed. No, the one thing I loved about that event was it was something unique that I don't think we've seen before. And I'll take my hat off to Picky and Adam and also Wade, because we bounced ideas, and I think what we came up with was really quite innovative in the way we judged it. And it was...
Can you spell that for me? Innovative.
Not at the moment. I've been up since 4 o'clock. So I other events I've attended in the pool, so Tradie Challenge, some of the other ones, you get 3 waves in a heat that are scoring waves, and the top 2 count. And if you play the game in the pool's pretty similar every time. what happens is, and this is exactly how I surf things like Tradie Challenge, I know exactly what I'm going to do every wave without fail. And what I wanted to do, my vision for the DKS B&V event was to have people go out and do an hour on the left, an hour of the right, and then use flow state and submit their 2 best clips from left and right.
How good is it?
Yeah.
Mate, it's amazing.
And the best part about it was like
You surf for an hour, every wave counts,
yes,
and then you just get to choose what you think was the best 2 and give it to the judges.
correct.
Which is crazy, right? Because one of the most debatable topics when it comes to competitive surfing or competitive bodyboarding or just competitive sports in general, where someone is given an individual score, is the judging.
Yep.
So judges are always criticised, no matter what.
Yep.
This is, and no offence, because obviously the work of a judge is hard work.
Yeah.
But you're almost removing that completely. Obviously, the back end, you guys had to score those.
Yeah, and
waves.
I think that's probably a lesson learnt from it is that we probably need to allow a bit more time to do that.
Absolutely, you need a lot more time.
What was the first thing that probably some of the back end stuff was a little bit
Clunky?
a little bit clunky, and I think we could improve on. So, like some of the back end stuff, like you wouldn't read about it, but getting 36 surfers to submit their 2 best clips of each wave turns out to be a really hard task.
What you guys basically gave yourself, an hour and a half?
Yeah, to judge
to do
it.
72 waves.
Yeah. And so Picky judged his side, myself, Jacques Leroux, and Mark Brockus Reddy. We judged the other side, and it was really good because we had the conversation. But the other thing that I really enjoyed about judging it was that, you know, how you're sitting at the beach and you're judging 20 minutes, and you sit there and you go, was Red's first wave better than yellow's second wave? And you're sitting there like trying to remember. This is mint because you can sit there and go, hang on, that wave that old mate got, what was that like? And you go and play them side by side.
And that's what I mean. Like you've got that. You're watching the replay in 4K side by side.
Correct.
Can't do that in a real time environment.
I suppose what was really interesting was I found that, you know, I look at it from both perspectives, both the organisational perspective and the competitive segment. And what we did in those 2 hours was we rolled through, I think it was 3 or 4 sets of the turns wave. So people who hadn't surfed urban before got the gist of how the wave works. So
the mechanics. And
then we put full barrels through. And we had a number of the prone riders put forward, even though I'd watched their other waves, they put forward some of their turns waves ones where they might have done like 10 spins.
Combos,
And I'm like, I wouldn't have submitted that, but that's what you've submitted. So I think when you introduce an idea like this as well, it's hard you've got to try and explain it to people, and then once they get the gist of it, these things evolve. But look, I'm really happy with how it run. I was exhausted by the end of it, but really, really happy with the feedback we've had. We'll run another one, and I think it's...
Do you think there's... Sorry to rudely interrupt.
Yeah.
Again, without a doubt, I think it's a no-brainer that you're going to do it again.
Yep.
Do you think there is scope that we move it up the East Coast and and you have one in Sydney and one here, or you want to do both here?
I've had really early discussions with Pico. I think he's got a bit of an appetite there.
Yeah.
It makes sense, right?
The one thing is that...
Because there is a little bit of variety, and we're obviously going to talk more about this in the potty later on, Shano. But there is difference in the wave pools.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, Sydney's shorter. So Sydney's shorter, and I believe... No, the pool itself has less water in it.
Yeah, but the wave is longer.
Yes, and that's because they don't have the plane to bays section. So I'm going to get this word wrong, bathymetry, which is the shape of the...
Can you spell that?
Definitely not. So the shape of the bottom, Sydney's is different to Melbourne's, and that's why the waves are different.
Yep, of course.
So they poured the concrete wrong on the left, but I still think the left in Melbourne is far superior to the right.
The left in Melbourne is heavier.
Yes.
Yep.
Adam, what did you find as a competitor? You're in the DKS.
Yeah, it was really good. It sort of polarized like differently from a normal event. So you had sort of the drawbacks, like you don't get, like the live scores because you're waiting till the end.
Yes.
But it builds that suspense. And then because it's in the wave pool, so I think like you don't have that great variance in waves.
Do you feel like it was more like as a competitor though, as you said, there's no live scoring. Did you feel more pressure or less pressure?
Initially more. I mean, just the anxiety around, that joint's a peanut gallery at the best of times. You've got 50 guys looking at you.
And then you've got
all the best DK guys. Then
Yeah. But yeah, then you sensed it with all the guys. Like, I'm assuming here, but just the demeanour and the banter and the water and that sort of stuff, as it flowed on, guys got more comfortable with it, and it just really flowed really well.
Turned into just a normal session.
Yeah.
Like a mate session.
And that's what the vision was. We wanted to, I think that the other format, I've served a number of times with three best, like 3 waves and top
like
2
we do
count.
at Tradie.
Yeah. I think that stifles innovation. And,
No, I agree.
And I think this format, like, if you wanted to, you could go and try the same maneuver X amount of times and try and bust something big. So that's what we're
Yeah,
after.
so you could fail because, I mean, how many waves do you get in an hour? 14?
15.
15, yeah. So you could go big every single wave.
Yeah.
And afford to blow a couple thinking that, well...
Yeah, which you can't do in the 3-wave format. You just can't.
Yeah. So it makes sense.
What other, I mean, again, from an outside perspective, because I mean, my involvement with that event was just to capture it. Holy shit. Fuck, I think I spent 4 hours floating around in the water shooting because Jennings, cheers, buddy, but weak as piss, mate. Didn't want to get in the water too cold for your pretty little warm Gold Coast fingers.
Oh, when you look at his results, it was pretty good.
Yeah, there's more footage of his than mine. But, mate, like, I was cooked. But, mate, from my perspective...
He gave you a new nickname too, but we won't mention it here.
Oh, please do.
Shaky. That's because the pool was so cold, though, wasn't
That's
it?
right. It's freezing.
So he doesn't clean his lens. He shakes.
He shakes.
It's just artistic flair on the phone.
Mate, I wouldn't get better if I didn't receive constructive feedback from Jennings. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks for the constructive feedback for everything, Jennings.
Yeah, mate, you're good at what you do.
Yeah.
Back to the point, from an outside perspective, and obviously, from the finished product, from what MJ put together, like, huge success. Like, you guys, I'm sure, are far more critical because you were the brains trust behind it. Where do you want to see it go moving forward? Like, what little things do you think you need to tinker? Chris, you've obviously mentioned give yourself a little bit more time. So maybe start the competitive side earlier. So give yourself some more time to actually sit. Do you think you need to have a bigger judging panel for the visionary stuff?
Maybe. I think, like, we ended up having it on a laptop and judging it like that. Probably I'd like a little bit of a better setup with a bigger screen next time to judge it. Probably the other thing is is getting people to upload
quicker
because there was a bit of time in that. I'd love to run it in summer, but the biggest thing
we were super lucky. Like, it was the end of August.
Oh, it was a cracking day.
And it was a cracking day. Yeah. And then next weekend it was like
snowing
10 degrees again. Yeah, it was shocking. So
the biggest thing is that the costs increase substantially.
Yeah, what are we looking like? 25% or something?
No, double. Almost double.
Right.
So by doing it in the off season, we saved a substantial.
So 100% markup from winter to summer.
Yeah, because they can't.
That doesn't make any business sense.
Yeah, so we'll
sort yourself out, Urban Surf. Sort yourself out.
I don't know how cold the water was. I didn't go near it for obvious reasons, but
it was fresh.
Yeah. I think they just finished. They'd just come out of the maintenance period as well.
But they didn't drain the pool this year, did they?
No.
Just a few cups of chlorine.
And what do you call it? Spack fill it to patch the holes in the floor.
Jeez. Mate, looks like camo when you look at the bottom. This
it's got a reef effect on it.
Oh, dude.
Do you know, a random fact for you, one of the members' nights, we actually got to walk through the pool and it was empty. Like, walk through.
Rough as guts.
And you'd be surprised, so that pier where the big Rory is in the middle of
pontoon.
it, that you don't realise how deep those,
Channels are.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like-
Super cheap.
And the one thing they did when we did the walkthrough there, they gave us all crayons and told us to write on the
On the wall.
on the floor.
All right.
What do you think's drawn on the bottom?
Dicks. Dicks.
There's a couple of them, and then for a while there, one of the guys,
Benny was given the same thing. He's given a texter, and it's on the toilet door in Urban Search.
next
his
to
phone number.
next to Sharks' photos.
That's right.
Yeah. Just a quick shout out to Sharks as well. I heard that apologies for his picture being removed from the toilets. That's no longer there.
Yeah.
And
What was the reason for that?
It's a sad day for bodyboarding.
I think the funniest thing that I've heard this year was his photo was in the females' toilets too. Riding a wave, can I just clarify? Anyway, carry on.
But ads, yeah, Chris rudely interrupted you. Give me what do you want to see? Because, mate, again, Urban Surf is such a great canvas, right? There's so many options to do so many other things. I mean, you've got the huge entertainment area over on the backside of the left. Obviously, Three Blue Ducks is a great venue to host presentation and dining and overpriced beers, etc. But I mean, it's great, and like they've got the Surf Academy. Like, I'm sure you've thought this over 1,000 times. Like, what you want to do for next year.
Obviously, the judging can be refined, like Chris has alluded to, but probably run it longer. I know, like I said, Pick and I've had a bit of a chat about this, and it's not set in stone by any stretch. It's just a sort of an idea, and potentially running it for longer. So we say like DKS out for a whole hour by themselves, and Prone in for another hour for the next hour, and alternate. That gives you a bit more leeway for judging. Maybe do that.
Yep.
But other than that, it's the comp itself is really autonomous, just because it's a controlled environment. Yeah, there's variables, with the judging and how you submit and that sort of stuff. But yeah, I've got grandiose changes sort of for it. I'd sort of build on what we did. If you had to really impress me,
I agree. Yeah,
I'd probably run it for that extra hour and alternate.
I think the other thing that time of year, there was a few people starting to feel that cold.
Yeah.
I looked at Lucky and I'm pretty sure he shriveled.
Yeah, but he was loving it.
Yeah.
Mate, he's still got Gromfroth at that place, doesn't he?
He absolutely had a ball. So the DKS section, we had some winners and losers. Third, Matt Lackey, which he was quite surprised at, I think. He was pretty stoked. He basically finished, in the pool and drove straight to the airport, back out again, so he had to work the next day. Typical Lackey. Then we had Justin Welsh as second, and Dame Pope, taking out the inaugural
Who came
DKS.
fourth? Tice?
I think so, yeah. Tice Ryan, yep.
Old Popey just doing Popey things.
God damn, he's just beautiful to watch, isn't he?
Yeah, and I just love the way he does it with no fanfare. Doesn't bat an eyelid.
Nah.
He's got it down pat. Very good to watch.
And then we had the Bodyboarding Vic versus SA.
Yeah, so what we wanted to do on our side, the reason why we collaborated in the first place with DKS was we both wanted to run an event, but the price of the pool is quite restrictive. If you've got to try and work out how to pay for it and get enough people in there and cover your costs, so to speak. So we came up with the idea of running Bodyboarding Vic on one side and then DKS on the other. I'm pretty sure in the middle hour we did two. The first hour was BV on the left, DKS on the right. Middle hour was free surfing, where I think everyone ended up jumbled up. And then the next one was DKS on, swapped over.
Yep.
So what we did on our side was we invited the South Aussies over, which we'd had a conversation with them it was Robe last year. Well, I had a good chat with Jasper Ashmore, and he was super keen, and so we floated the idea with him, like, you guys bring over 9 people, we'll have 9 people from Bodyboarding Vic, and we'll do a state of origin type thing, and I think not only was the event, one of the highlights of the event, not only was the event, but was the group chat banter that went on before.
Yes,
Still
Adam. I think we're gonna segue
Adam.
to you here, please. You wanna
Adam,
tell-
I wouldn't answer any questions involved in the group chat. If I was you, I'd burn that document. If you could only burn your phone.
mate. You want to.
It's had its desired effect. I'll say that.
Mate, what? How did that start? You didn't even go in lightly, mate. You went straight to the core from day one.
I believe you put the shot across the bow,
Me?
mate.
What
Yeah.
was my comment?
It was something.
The only
that
way to
put
get
the deal-
barreled in South Australia is to live at Snowtown.
Oh, Jesus.
But when I say that, like it's been like yeah, some questionable stuff in there, no doubt. But it's had its desired effect. Like it's made some good friends through it, really.
Yeah.
And the connections have been awesome and that sort of
Mate,
stuff.
Well, that's why we're all here, because we've got
Mate, that's
good
it.
mates.
Mate, these guys are our family. Like, honestly, South Oz to me, and I'm sure you guys could agree, it's basically an extension of us, right? They're our neighbours. They're our brothers. We love everything they do, and vice versa. We're kind of like those forgotten, stepchilds down here in the bottom part of Australia. Don't get that same kind of, stardom that the East Coast gets. So obviously makes sense for us to obviously look after each other. And this event is obviously proven that, and obviously leading into what we're doing here over in Robe this weekend. I think this is the third year we've come across to obviously take part and support the Robe Bodyboard Bash, which is
I think one of the things I really loved is we commissioned a trophy for
for the event.
And so they've got the golden flipper. Like South Aussies always have the best trophies. Like the golden flipper's sick. Like I love that. And I said to Ads, I'm like, could we do like a concrete flipper, like a grey flipper? And so we did. And shout out to Salvaged by Sticks who built a beautiful reclaimed wood base that's a bodyboard, and it's got a limited edition fin in some form of concrete paint. I don't know. I just let him have free reign. Like, you make
Looks
a trophy.
sick.
Tell us what we need to do, and it came up sick. Like it was really quite cool. So there was a bit of banter in that chat about who's going to take what flippers home, wasn't there?
Yeah. Amongst many other things.
That was the least.
Yes.
But in terms of taking home the glory, obviously the great result for us guys was that Bodyboarding Vic, took home the cheese. We're pretty, I think, clear outright winners at the pool. Look,
Was the winner at the event though? Who? That was the South Australian.
Yeah, Simon Longhurst
Longy.
had the highest scoring rides in there.
Yeah.
Mate, he is an absolute machine. Like tech kid. Like there's not much that he actually can't do in the
And
pool.
loves
or
a good
anyways.
bit of banter too.
Yeah.
Questionable bloke, but
I don't. I'm actually just looking at the heat draw for this
Love him,
weekend's event. I don't think Longy's here,
Oh,
which is a bit of a shame.
you're in with a chance then.
Me, I'm not competing, buddy.
We're here to make up numbers.
But look, one thing that I think is a great outcome of State of Origin and also the Robe Bodyboard Bash is that it's driving, so much more determination for everyone to get more involved. Like, I think last year, looking back on Robe, like you came runner-up, didn't you here, Watto?
Third.
Third. I think that put a fair bit of fire in the South Oz Bally. That I think they're in great fear that a Victorian's going to take home their local trophy.
The fat Victorian might actually get a golden
That's
flipper.
right. I didn't say that. You said that. But then obviously, we did such a great job at the pool. I think they've come back and kind of taken a hard look at themselves and kind of thought, fuck, we really need to get our shit together here. Like this heat draw for tomorrow's event.
All us Vicos in the one heat.
I just looked at my heat and I'm like, shout out to Japs, Hayden Mahoney, Chris Watson, Dylan Beach, and James
Mate,
Kokosis.
it's probably the most stacked heat draw I've seen for the Robe event in a solid 5 years.
So there's 33
33.
competitors in the middle of the desert.
There's some
In there.
there's some famous names. There's some well-known names in here. Sammy Woolston's in here, of course. He's won it a few times.
3 times, I think. Dylan
Yep.
Beach, 2-time winner.
Japs. How many times? 3?
I think so. Phil Good.
Marshall Watson is back.
Oh,
Yep.
His pre-game routine's going to be solid, I'm sure.
Yeah, like our pre-game routine. A few amber cordials.
Another proud supporter, West End Draft. West End Draft.
For the best end of the day.
Prison grade draft.
Jesus.
Yeah, we'll definitely get sponsored now.
All right. Coming up next after the commercial break, we're going to put the spotlight on you again, Ads, and talk about DKS Port Mac, which obviously what the following weekend or week?
Yeah, week
after the pool party. Lots of stuff to kind of unpack there, mate. Obviously, looked like another successful event. 21st or 22nd year on the run?
21st.
21st year. So, big milestone event. Got some good waves. Weather was good, which always helps. But probably the main talking point, which, you know, is super controversial, like in a positive and a negative light, was the, the shark sighting and the possible implications that that's now going to have on the future of that event, but also other bodyboarding and water-based sports events moving forward. Mate, give us your kind
in
of...
particular in Port Macquarie.
Yeah. Give us a rundown. Because, mate, lots of other shit has happened there as well.
Yeah, so I guess for those unaware exactly what went on, it was in the first semi, I believe, was Popey, Gary Thatcher and Jimmy Lear. So it was the first semi of the comp, sort of mid-afternoon. And a shark came through the lineup. I was standing with a couple of boys, Port boys, Dylan Short, Michael Castledini, and Michael actually seen it really early. He sort of called it out, and we were sort of, hey, you guys see that? And digress a bit too. So there was risk mitigation strategies in place for this occurrence.
Of course.
A drone and a ski. Unfortunately, the person who had the ski called in sick, literally a sick family. So the risk mitigation strategy for the shark was a drone.
Which is still, in hindsight, better than what it's probably ever been in the last, the entire history of competitive surfing.
Yeah. So, it came through, it was spotted. We notified, or Michael notified the guys, hey, have you seen this? They put the drone over it and everyone's seen that footage there that's sort of done the rounds.
Yep.
Yeah.
It made Channel 9 News, didn't it?
Yeah, local NBN News up there. Yep. So, not good. I mean, everyone knows the background, unfortunately, to Port Macquarie now. Unfortunately, his name escapes me.
Kai McKenzie.
Yeah. And what a legend, going back to the same spot and getting in the water again. You had that. And then literally last year, it was the week before a guy got attacked at Lighthouse. So,
yeah.
It was the week after the
surf championships. Yeah.
I was talking to Nathan Clark I picked up Clarkie on the way to your 50th.
Yep.
And we were talking about sharks, and he was saying that the blokes up there are sort of...
You're not going in the water.
Yeah, very hesitant at the moment. They're a bit concerned.
Yeah. I was talking to Chase O'Leary, and he had a lot to say in terms of you can't go in the water competitively up there without all these mitigation strategies in place. But he said, everyone's a bit...
And this is exactly what we're talking about.
Everyone's a bit standoffish.
The future implications...
Yeah,
because of that, and obviously what happened to Kai. Obviously, big shout out to Kai. He just got back in the water.
Yeah.
Stab Magazine have just done a really great article. Obviously, a friend of mine, friend of probably most of us, Josh DeBone, did a really good kind of photo gallery of that.
That was epic. That was a really good article.
I spoke to Josh about it the other day, and that just said it was just really overwhelming kind of experience, but crazy.
I think so you talk about the shark mitigation strategies, and I've had a fair bit to do with it, and a lot that I won't divulge in here, but the Surfing Australia risk mitigation strategy is pretty, for any of these events, you've got to have either a ski or you've got to have a drone or some form of water safety in there, and it's mandated in any of the events, and that's the Surfing Australia one. Victoria follows that, New South Wales follows that. Everyone follows that because we even did an analysis, like statistically in Victoria, how many shark sightings we've had at events, or how many attacks there's been during events, which we've had pretty much none.
Yep.
But like, we abide by those higher rules that they've set for Queensland and New South Wales, or that they follow as well. But yeah, I think there was that other one. It was just after the national titles last year, and I still remember Mark Britton, surfing
The exact same spot.
And I still remember, like, that last day, I said to Mark, I'm like, something's not quite right. Like, it just felt real iffy. So, yeah, it's always something you take into consideration.
Yeah, like you said, it has sort of, I guess, raised the importance for that sort of treatment to the risk sort of thing. But like you said there, Chris, sorry, it's good that Surfing Vic have sort of taken that initiative, so I think, to quantify the risk.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You can always go above and beyond. You guys know what I do for a living, sort of thing, as a risk professional, that sort of thing. But yeah, it certainly highlights it. And, you know, if anything, you know, one thing about risk is when something occurs, it sort of sticks in people's minds and that sort of stuff, and changes attitude. So big implications, really. Like, and it's probably monetary, really. If you're going to run a comp, if you're going to do these, jet skis and that sort of stuff isn't cheap.
Yeah, yes and no. My biggest concern, and you're going to know a lot more about this than anyone, Adam, is, I mean, there's only so much bubble wrap we can put around running these events, like. But it's not just what we do. Like, you see that whole bubble wrap kind of mentality just in everything else in life. I guess my biggest concern is it ever going to get to the point where we're just not going to be able to get, you know, insurance or protection in doing what we do as a sport?
I'm going to probably steal Ad's thunder, but would you say that the risk rate versus other things is like the risk factor, if you calculated it out for a shark attack, would be less than a lot of other things, like even driving to the comp or something like that, maybe?
Yeah, like, I mean, I've been compiling some risk assessments for our events coming up, and you look at the risk profile, it's probably the biggest risk in some of these events is, you know, personal injury, you know, spinal was probably, in terms of consequence and likelihood.
Yep.
What about bloody back injuries from dragging generators up beaches?
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, if you sort of step back and you look at the shark thing, and
it's minimal.
And particularly, like you said, like in Victoria, how many? You know, that's often like the first question they ask in risk, and a lot of people would have seen it on risk assessments. You know, have you heard of this occurring, or how often does this occur?
Yep.
So, yeah, in terms of insurance, I mean, obviously deal a lot with public liability insurance, which we're talking here. And I know certainly in Victoria, you've got to prove, let's say the person, and this is hypothetical, the person running the event has to be proven negligent.
Yep.
In some way, shape, or form, you know, for basically litigation to be successful. And I would argue that, you know, if you've quantified the risk, and, you know, let's say, this is hypothetical again, here in Victoria, where we haven't had many shark attacks, there's no really record of it in recent times, and we still employ a drone. You don't put a ski in the water and something happen. My humble opinion, you could argue that you've done everything reasonably practical to mitigate that risk, and you weren't negligent.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So maybe Port Macquarie, where, like, stuff's happened and it's really bad. And personally, someone who's holidayed, you know, from a young age at Port, and it's a really eerie feeling up there.
Yeah.
But that is what it is.
Well, it's become, when you look back a couple of years ago when Ballina was the focus.
This is the thing. The Australian coastline goes through these stages, right?
Yeah.
You're saying Ballina. There was obviously Alliston down in South Oz.
Yep.
Well, basically, not just Alliston. South Oz had a bad run. I mean,
there was the young fellow that got that died. I think it was last year.
there was a fatality in Port Macdonald. That was 3-4 years ago. That was the father. He was out snorkeling with his wife and 2 kids. They were a little bit closer to shore, and he disappeared. There was a swimmer going for a everyday morning swim along the pier at Beachport.
Yep.
The other thing is, I don't know if you went, Shane. There was a Nationals a couple of years ago in Coffs where they called off
they stopped it though. Yeah, they didn't run all the finals.
Yeah, I think everyone got equal whatever it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
What are you looking at your watch for, mate? You got somewhere to be.
No, it's buzzing like a. Yeah. Probably the one thing, like you look on our coastline, if you did the risk thing at the moment, and sort of kind of off topic, but the amount of drownings have gone through the roof.
Yeah.
It's not so much shark stuff in Victoria, but the amount of drownings in
Victoria's.
there's a couple of locations near us, like Cape Shank, that's been absolutely terrible for it. So
another one up in Caloundra last weekend or 2 weekends ago.
What?
Yeah.
yeah,
Shit.
Couple went in, but I think he was fairly old sort of guy. Got caught in the rip, and his partner couldn't help.
And that was a patrolled beach too, right?
Yeah, I was speaking to Lockie about it the other day.
No way.
Oh,
that sucks.
yeah, it was unpatrolled at the time.
Yeah.
Where the old river mouth was.
Yeah, gotcha.
Just to end on a positive note, Adam, who were the winners out of the DKS in Port Mac?
So Ryan Duck, back to back.
Oh, yep.
Quack, quack.
Yeah, Yui, bruh. Couldn't see Nova Castrian take it out, but the final, the waves did drop off. So don't get me wrong, and it was a tough battle, but Ducky deserved it.
Yeah.
But the usual faces there: Popey, Gary Thatcher, all those guys. It's just such the bar is so high that comment. It's so sick.
I thought you meant the bar bill.
that too.
That was up there.
Yeah. We had actually had the Prezzo this year at an art gallery.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's
It's a bit
taking it up
fancy.
and
It's a bit fancy, all red wine and bubbles.
I can imagine Pico drinking a red wine with his finger. Well,
It was much more contained on that side this year, but Ducky took it out back to back, first time I think in its history. Or I think Grant Maloney has done it back to back. Yeah. Anyway, it was good to see Ducky go back to back.
It's just it's a good plaque, isn't it? Like there's just some really good drop knee representatives that have taken that thing out.
Yeah.
So,
No, it's always a good vibe.
out of curiosity, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was the American gentleman that come over for
Trevor Solberg.
Yes.
Yeah.
I listened to the podcast with him and Manny,
Yeah.
and he was very complimentary of that, and he said how good the talent was. And,
Can we get Manny back on the world tour?
yeah. On that podcast, Manny was actually saying, I'll ring Pico now and get the dates for next year.
Mate.
That'd be so good to have.
Yeah, there's something you want to throw into the mix to improve the event. Have Manny.
Yeah.
Oh,
What, you two in the booth together or what?
I'm not sure I'm the same. I'm on the same level as Manny. Might throw Beachy in there with Manny over me.
Yeah.
Talking of that, bring a world tour back. There's not a world tour at the moment, is there?
A world tour?
Yeah.
Is there?
For drop knee?
No, for bodyboarding.
Is it a world tour?
Is there something going
No,
on?
it's a South American tour.
Is there? Okay.
It just wrapped up its final leg in Fronton, actually, and crowned a South American, a world champion. Ha. We're terrible people, aren't we? No, we should be embracing bodyboarding, gentlemen. We're a positively geared podcast. We've spoken about this many times. We're not here
Can I just shout out and say what my positive is? To see the Australian guys have a red hot crack at Fronton and the Maldives. Shout out to Jai Taylor, Anthony Williams. That was epic. Watching those two surf was really good. And I hope to see them back next year and having a red hot crack.
I definitely think they're going to be there, for sure.
Yeah.
I think
That was a huge sigh.
Wow.
I think that says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'll be straight up. I've lost interest.
Yeah, and so have I.
And that's not a big thing.
I'm embarrassed to say.
I love bodyboarding. That's my business. It's everything. I reckon I got to July this year and my interest level just dropped beyond caring anymore about the world tour. And the reason for that, and I'm going to give them massive props, was Shark Island Challenge this year absolutely killed it.
Yep.
They did such a good job. Well done, boys.
Up
And-
the sick.
Well, it just had everything. It had old school guys, had new school guys, had international riders. It just had everything. And this world tour, they seem to reject the old guys. It was great to see in Temega in Fronton. I'll be honest, I haven't watched the event. I've just seen some bits and pieces through social media. But yeah, it's just, how do you bring that level of interest back and start bringing everyone back into it? It's
Well, I
don't know.
think, to be brutally honest, I think that's a pretty fucking easy answer. It needs to be a world tour. And look, I get it. They're working within the parameters of probably what their budget and their scope is. And for that, I give them credit. But I'm still scratching my head as to why Australia does not have an event on that World Tour calendar. If not even just an event, and we talked about this earlier, Shane,
Yeah.
an entire leg. And it
well,
doesn't
I can be honest, and you and Chris know why.
we do.
And we haven't had that discussion on the podcast before.
But we're
And
beating
I
a
think
dead
that's
horse by
something
bringing it up.
we should dedicate a full podcast to in the future.
Yep.
Exactly why that is, because you guys know, and we've kept our mouths shut for a long time about it. And I think a future potty will bring that a bit more into the discussion.
Yeah.
But look, again, like I said, and we spoke about this earlier, Shane, you can't just have one event. You've got to have a leg. Every other part of South America seems to get a leg. Why can't we have a leg? But in saying that, why does it just have to encompass Australia? We could go back to that kind of old IBA format where Australia is actually Australasia, right? So that technically encompassed New Zealand, Tassie, who technically are their own country anyway. But wow, I'm feeling another State of Origin event coming up. But I mean, South Pacific basically falls under that Australasia banner as well. Why can't we? There are so many great people that do work in this sport, right? Like, can't we all just get in the same room and have a conversation and map this out? It might not happen overnight. It might not happen in the first 12 months. Might be a 3-year succession plan, right? But to go, hey,
I don't think the team that's running it at the moment is capable of instituting that.
No, I don't.
No.
But I don't know. Maybe word will get out. Maybe they'll hear some feedback from this, well-listened podcast that is the Closeout.
This well-respected news.
Yeah. On the front line.
Benny Oborn, I mean Tracy Grimshaw.
I'm more of a Jane Bunn. But no, honestly, there's so many great people running some really great events here in Australia, right? And I'll openly admit it, like what Pico's done with DKS, 21 years running, right? That shit can't go unnoticed. Like, there's been so many other great people doing other great things. Like, I know there's some crew up on the Goldie that do some stuff. Salask NCR does the Future Youth event. I might not agree with all of those things, but mate, it's a developing event. Like, what we're doing here in Bodyboarding Vic is great. What Japs does down here by himself in South Oz is great. Like, there's great people. There's no reason why, I'm not saying go...
And on top of that, all the goose got
exactly, right?
And,
mate,
the whole memorial tour that they're doing in New South Wales is fantastic.
And I think we should start implementing state news into the Closeout Bodyboarding podcast. The problem is it'd take an hour and a half to get through the state news every episode because there's so much good shit happening.
Can I, as a point for state news, that was one thing that when Riptide launched again, I was hoping we were going to get back.
I think everyone was hoping for state news.
And everyone was hoping for, everyone I've spoken to sort of would like it. So if the Riptide boys are listening, can we bring back state news? It was quite good.
If not, give us the thumbs up and we'll do it.
Yep.
But we've talked about this, how many great, wave locations are there in Oz where you could honestly say, given the right event window, which is, generally 10, to 12 days max, where you couldn't run a world-class event. I mean, I'd love to see the Sick back on the world tour. That, in saying that, that is probably...
Do we need it?
The Sick.
Honestly, I don't think the world... We're trying to make something out of the world tour. I don't think the world tour is capable of doing.
No.
What I'd love to see, personally...
An Aussie tour.
...is 3 fantastic events in Australia.
Yeah.
And that's all we need.
Is that part
and
of
then,
that?
and that goes for the US as well. Getting pipe going and those guys build 3 events over there that, but welcomes internationals.
Yep.
Would you guys?
And that's no different to Australia here. Let's welcome internationals. We don't have to call it a world tour. Just create something.
5-star events.
But out of all these, so we is there going to be some connection where out of all of that, you're going to crown a
Who
champion?
cares? It promotes bodyboarding in your
yelling at me,
local
Shane.
area.
Stop yelling at me.
I vote for bring back the Tahiti skins.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun.
There's got to be guys in Tahiti capable of running that.
Yeah. Such a fitting name. It's the one wave that's going to take the most skin, right?
Oh, 100%. Who doesn't remember that forward spin by Hardy in a barrel? That was next level.
Oh, mate, there's half a dozen moments you could list off the top of your head from the various Tahiti events that are just embedded in everyone's mind. Anyway, like we said, boys, this is probably a whole nother potty.
Yeah, that's a full potty.
I was going to say, just on a side note to that, as always, we look at what the stand-up world tour is, and they've had a few changes on the stand-up world tour. I was really happy to see J Bay come back because I really enjoy watching J Bay.
Really happy to see the finals day moved for 2025.
Yeah. So just before I get to, I've got a question for all of you about that, and then Abu Dhabi, which is very controversial.
Of course it is.
Yeah. I personally wouldn't watch another event with the Slater wave pool. I watched the longboard event.
What do you mean? Prince Harry was killing it out there the other day.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. Did you
Fucking hell.
did you guys see any of the longboard event?
I watched a bit of it, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
You seem stoked, mate. You seem stoked.
Yes.
We should give the world tour a bit of a wrap up, though.
Hang on.
Who's the new world champ?
Mate, no. You see, we really rushed over this, and we shouldn't. There's people that deserve to be celebrated.
We're talking about Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
And we've skipped the actual bodyboarding.
Mate, exactly. So there is a new world champion for 2024, which is Amide Silveres from the Canary Islands. And
Say it 3 times.
Shut your mouth. I apologise if I got that pronunciation wrong, mate. Congratulations. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think the first ever World Tour champion to represent the Canary Islands, which is huge. Mate, he had a pretty consistent year. Coming in second was PLC. Obviously, coming into that event was a title race. And obviously at Fronton, absolute wave of consequence. So that's kind of the storyline for me. You said before, Shane, you kind of zoned out mid-season. I actually got a little bit excited coming into Fronton because, again, when Fronton's on, it's mental. It's like a Rika, right?
But the problem is, right, I can tell you why
he's so angry, isn't he?
Amide won and PLC didn't.
Fire away, mate.
PLC didn't do all the events.
No.
Had he done every event, that's the problem. The good riders don't want to do all these events. Yep. That's the answer to your question.
It's a numbers game.
Romero went to that first event, got the shits, left. That's what's happening. Tamega did the last event.
But
we want to see heroes.
I get it.
We want to see the emerging. So Amide, fantastic. We want to see the emerging.
Give the man some credit, Shane.
I just said. But on top of that, on paper, we can see what's going on. It doesn't make sense that they're calling it a world tour because if you're from the other side of the world, you can't afford to do this tour.
No, I completely agree. Absolutely, completely agree.
Just one more thing on the tour. Could they please put the junior women's in some better waves?
That's the clip I sent you, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what that was from. For reference, I stumbled across a little Instagram clip of, I think, the junior women's event somewhere. It was 1 foot. It was onshore. And the competitors were basically pushing off the sand to do their final move onto dry beach. Sorry, guys, at the IBC, but do better.
100%.
That is not... Look, I understand we're at the, in the hands of the elements, but that was just... That was not good enough. For
Why wouldn't an Australian girl go all the way across the world to surf that?
Yep, I get it. I accept your points, and I respect your opinion.
But do you?
But
I'm the villain of this podcast.
You are a villain. And
dear.
we still need to celebrate the champions. So I quickly want to move on.
I wish you didn't mention Tristan Roberts. He won the event.
You didn't give me an opportunity to, mate. You just kept shooting me down. Mate, have another sip of your raspberry cordial, Shane.
Maybe we should have given Shane a couple of beers.
Look, I'm going to quickly move on to the women. So 2024 IBC Women's World Champion is Mayra Viana from Brazil. So well done to you. Sari Ohara from Japan was second, and in third was Luna Hardman from Brazil. She also took out the 2024 IBC Junior Women's World Champions, which is pretty amazing. Juniors was Alexander Montez in first from the Canary Islands. Oh, I love that sound, ads.
West End, the best end of the day.
You hear that sound just as the guard says, "Lights out."
Just after your cellmates mixed it in the toilet bowl.
Michaela Arrigata from Chile second, and Mikhail Yancey from Peru in third. Just to go back to the junior women's as well. Obviously, Luna came first. Luana Dorado from Portugal in second, and Araya Tabalno from Hawaii in third. Ads, who took out the DK World Championship this year?
Semi Maritimo, I think it was one event.
Sure did. I'm also such a shame to only see the one event with D-Hub in second and Shaden Arn from Hawaii in third.
Just 10 DKS into the Drop Me World Tour.
He has been approached, I believe, at times.
If they're only going to have one event.
Hey, out of curiosity, you've got the...
Yeah, Clayton was approached and he said no.
You've got the stats in front of you. What did Jai Taylor come in the junior men's? Because he was actually almost... Because of his win at Maldives.
Fifth.
Yeah.
Is Jai a Victorian?
Well, technically, yes.
Yes. Born in Victoria.
Born in Victoria, and then... Yeah,
Maddie Taylor, shout out.
Maddie Taylor and Steph moved up to Sunny Coast.
Up the Victorians, yeah.
As an import, just a candid observation, you guys have really got a chip on your shoulder about this shit.
I was going to say...
Benny's seizing.
I was going to say, Benny lived in the Goldie.
Dan, can you... Yeah.
Dan came from New South Wales, where, we are surrounded here. Yeah.
Oh, God.
But yeah, look, I guess to wrap this up in a beautiful piece of purple cellophane,
Wow.
there were positives from the World Tour. There were also some negatives and a couple of room for improvements. But again, I think we'll do this for the next potty. But
Benny, I want to talk about a real hero, Benny.
Here we go.
A real hero of our sport right now. But
shit,
I believe you know everything about this person.
Everything.
Walid Zdah. Please enlighten me, because it seems to be a niche that hasn't come across my desk yet.
Or mine.
But you keep raving about Walid Zdah. Hit me.
I wish I had more to tell, mate. I'm as much in the dark about this human as you are. He's a person of interest in bodyboarding.
I thought you were going to say he's suspected of murder or something.
Is he wanted?
He could be. He is really good at marketing himself as a bodyboarder.
Right.
there's all...
Have you watched bodyboarding footage of him, or was it just a photo?
No,
of
I
him
can't find any.
standing.
I can't find any.
Arms crossed.
But there's all this crazy propaganda being posted by Walid.
Oh, he posted himself.
He posted himself on a
It's
variety
not a
of...
team of marketers behind him.
No. It's not someone he hired from Fiverr or something like that.
Right.
So it's, posted by Walid on all of the bodyboarding forums. Like, Walid, the next world champion.
Where's he from? Is he competing on the tour?
No.
Oh,
No,
he couldn't afford.
but you know what I mean? He's
I actually have no idea who
there's
this bloke
there's
is.
some crazy stats. Apparently he's got more likes on Tinder than any other professional
Tinder?
bodyboarding.
On Tinder?
Yeah, he's apparently
What's his grinder stats?
What
like?
he did he post that himself?
Yeah.
He
It's-
talked about Tinder.
there's some
internet.
really weird shit.
75k follows.
Yeah, but
Wow.
Well,
I feel-
Closeout's got a long way to go.
I feel like he might have paid for a lot of them.
Are they Colombian follows?
But the bizarre thing is, like, and look, we could be way off the mark. Maybe he's really good. Maybe just doesn't have anyone to capture footage, or maybe he can't afford to get to events. But
It's like you.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But
This
he's
is mind blowing.
exactly. But the thing is, like,
Who's live deep
he's
diving
getting-
on Walid's.
he's getting
Can I just bring this to your attention? The caption is so high.
Look at the
He's
photo.
he's getting
That's going to go up on socials.
he's getting
So high.
he's getting absolutely roasted, but it doesn't deter him. He
believe-
just keeps putting stuff
I
up.
saw something on Bodyboarding Australia the other day, and there's people hating on him. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's death threats.
Yes.
It's getting
Telling him
out of
to be
hand,
banned.
and he's just
God.
he's the gift that keeps on giving.
I'm
like the new
following
Lego
this
man.
bloke.
But again, mate, look, we we're at the forefront of journalism. We like to see both sides of the story. So, Walid, if you're listening, feel free to reach out. We'd love to link up and have a chat, mate.
I wish I could translate what this says. It says NMD boards times Walid Zabad, and then it says something, and it's got a question mark. Is he like asking for sponsorship?
I don't know.
Like, is this like, hey, come give me a board?
Can we move on?
We're looking forward to the new NMD Zard model.
Yeah, okay.
Speaking of a real true champion, Teza McKenna,
The voice.
the voice.
I mean, he's been
He's the
told
voice.
many times he's got the face for radio. So, Teza, big shout out, mate. We all love you, buddy.
He is now a Australia-wide sensation.
Isn't he? What? Has anyone got any stats on what his socials are? They must be blowing through.
Well, he's
the
been
roof.
trying to build his brand. He said that quite openly on his socials.
Mate, anyone who can get Adam Lambert to give you the what do they do? Press a button? Well, is it a thumbs up? Is it? No, that was a Mark Holden thing, wasn't it?
I've actually never. Yeah,
Mate,
I don't
so-
know. What do you do? What do you do?
So Teza auditioned himself on The Voice.
Yeah.
Obviously singing. Did he do White Wedding?
It was
Yeah, I
definitely a
I think it
Billy
was,
Idol
yeah.
song. Yeah.
So blind auditions, and Adam Lambert
Killed it.
killed it. And Adam Lambert, hit the button, turned around. So
Lead singer of Queen,
yeah, absolutely.
Freddie Mercury's replacement.
Yep, Adam Lambert, also a former winner of, I think it might not have been The Voice, or it was American Idol.
Right.
So a guy with a fair bit of credibility. Good on you, Teza. Mate, is there anything Tez can't do? That was an awkward song. Jesus
I
Christ.
was thinking, no, you can do that. I can't think of anything.
But here's the fact that he sat on that stuff for months. Don't quote me exactly when
Yeah,
it was filmed, but
that
like
would
he
have
kept it
been
light.
hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 100% it would have been.
But mate, onwards and upwards, Teza. Looking forward to seeing him at some.
Do you reckon the Australian surfing championships can afford him this year for his appearance fee? It would have gone up, wouldn't it?
He would have to.
So it should.
He was playing at the pub last year, the year before last, I think it was.
No, this year.
Oh, this year
For
as well.
nationals, I
Yeah, he
believe
done
so.
a gig on the Saturday night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Appearance fees.
Well, let's talk about one of your mates. You kept talking about all of my mates.
Okay.
Kingy
Kingy.
and the aftermath of the sick.
A true Australian legend.
A joker. That's it. That's all you've got.
That's all. You haven't asked a question. Yeah,
You
just
wrote
said
the
it's not really-
script.
Yeah, you didn't actually ask a question. You're
Yeah.
just like, Kingy, he sells property.
Yeah.
Good bodyboarder.
All right. For everyone who's been paying close attention to all things bodyboarding, there's a fair bit of hoorah leading up to, during, and after the Shark Island Challenge in relation to Kingy as to whether he was going to be invited, whether he did receive an invite, or many other questions. There was a few kind of clips that came up after the event, because I guess there was some theories surrounding why I wasn't at the event. Shano, please elaborate. That's a question. Now he has to answer.
Yeah, well, I believe Kingy's asked a lot of mileage from his socials this year. He's a funny bastard, and but the good thing about it, he tells it the way it is.
Yep.
He's always very upfront and straightforward. So he sort of put up a post that sort of called out his involvement with the Shark Island Challenge this year, because obviously he was left out. He made a couple of funny clips about being left off, which were, went a bit viral, which were fantastic. But he was a little bit unhappy in a new clip that he'd sort of said that it's been put out there in the media that he was invited, but he knocked it back, and he sort of refuted those claims.
Would have been really good to see him surf it.
Yeah, but let's be honest, he's going to be invited next year now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Kind of hard to.
So what you're saying is,
Did he-
if you put up a clip, Shano, and say, "Why wasn't I invited?" We're going to see you in the Shark Island Challenge.
No, but I'm not a 2-time world champion.
You're a former sponsor of the event.
So?
Give him a Guernsey.
Wow.
The wild card, Shane Britton.
Maybe Mark. Probably got more.
I think it'd be great to see it. Well, besides the winner, to see a completely different group of people invited this year. That's the format. It allows you to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's an invitational.
Yeah.
That's the whole benefit of an invitational.
So,
I'd like to see another Grom or something like that in there.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
there's plenty of other locals that, would be good to see in there as well.
Look, I haven't reached out to Lukey to ask his 2 cents on it, and I will in good time. I think one thing you said at the start of the potty, we definitely have to continue to highlight which was how bloody successful that event was this year.
Yeah.
The way it was marketed, the way it was put together, and the way that it was essentially highlighted post-production, was something that I think bodyboarding has been missing for a very, very long time. So,
I don't think you could name many people that weren't watching the live stream.
no.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is kind of like a pebble in an ocean moment with Kingy, because, again, Kingy's someone that deserves every bit of glorification,
Well, I think if you think a story's been put out there about yourself that is incorrect,
Yep.
You've got the opportunity to address
Yep,
it.
absolutely. But yeah, I just hope that doesn't take away from the huge success that was the SIC,
No,
because
it doesn't.
And if you're a listener and you've got a problem with anything that Benny's mentioned on this podcast, just email complaints at thecloseout.com.au.
Allegedly.
You know what?
Allegedly.
Walid's going to be after me, isn't he? Have you not seen Walid, Adam?
No, I was
where you've been hiding. You've been hiding.
You're going to follow him just for shock factor.
I think he followed
It's a
me.
marketing strategy. 100%.
Yeah, good on him.
Yep.
Wait, so it's legit. He's surfing. I thought this.
No, I don't know if he does surf.
Or is it just full troll spec?
I don't know. I can't figure it out. I know one of the Rick James, Big Rick from he's been just
musician.
laying it. Yeah, that
Rick James.
in the red leather suit that Eddie
with a perm.
that
yeah.
Eddie Murphy wore on stage for Raw.
I tell you what, The next closeout potty we do, I think we better order some of the Walid merch.
There you go. See?
There's
See what I mean?
merch. Oh,
There's
no.
merch.
Give us a look.
Fuck.
How's he got merch and we haven't? What's going on?
Mate, he must have like a Dirk Ziff backing him.
Do you reckon it's just someone they've taken like 4 photos of him?
I
And
don't know. Could be.
We should do a social experiment and see if we can get Benny Oborn to wear each.
he spelled official
Do you reckon
wrong.
I can get 75? Do you reckon I can get 75,000 followers like Walid?
I was thinking you're pushing it at 75. You don't
Mate,
have
you know
Instagram, do you?
Nah, I think we should just call Channel 7 and get to the bottom of this. You know, this could be a Sunday night episode.
Well, Tracy Grimshaw will take care of it.
So what is it? Where is he? Oh, Jesus.
All right, I'm going to put it out there right now, boys. The Invitational, Walid Shark Island Challenge 2025.
Throw it out there.
Oh, throw it out there. I'm calling it right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mate, that's, this is almost as marketing genius as getting Noah Dean to the sick.
Just
You
push
know,
him down
throw
to
Walid.
Shark Island.
Was it Noah? It was Noah Dean.
Yeah, but he was injured.
What about surprised Harry Bryant didn't get a call up?
Oh, God, there's half a dozen of those guys that could easily do a good job out there.
Did anyone see Stab High? Did you watch
I
Stab
haven't
High?
watched it yet.
Stab High. What's his name? Harry Bryant's riding a booger.
Mate,
During the call.
I'm so time poor and far behind in catching up on any
Is it
media
like
stuff.
Japan?
Yeah.
Ads. We're on to you again now, mate. Want to talk about another pretty cool event that went down recently, the Warrnambool Big Wave event, which was put on by West Coast Bodyboard Club.
Yeah. So, ironically, we're sitting here at a really great grassroots event, and I guess that's what that event was. Like, doff of the cap, Ross and Kylie, Luke, Brad, Logs, and that sort of stuff, getting that off the ground. Like, they got not skunked for ways, but they sort of got pushed, sort of thing. They're running out of time. I guess they could have extended, but
What was the waiting period?
I think they did at
6
least
weeks, wasn't it?
Oh, they done it in a couple of months. And they could have extended, don't get me wrong. And they took a gamble, and they got pretty good waves. So, as I said before, I judged the event. It was just grassroots, and it worked. There's a whole lot of other things that perhaps could have done, and much like any other grassroots sort of comp. But, it was great to watch and judge sort of stuff. And, I had a solid crew there to watch them go down, that sort of thing.
What were your highlights?
Not drowning?
Yeah, we've.
Other than like Ross's wipeout, like that was 8 foot
That
solid.
was mental.
Like that was next level.
Yeah.
And you
He
had,
put all these eggs in one basket in that one.
yeah.
but you,
Shane.
Stop it.
Shane.
but no, you had like Josh Keenan who won it, and he was just ripping.
Another true Victorian. Joshy Keenan up to Vicos.
Yeah,
Love it.
but everyone's giving a nudge, like Taj and and Lukey Palmer and that sort of stuff. Just everyone giving a nudge, but probably one of the highlights for me was Sam Logan. So I've only met this guy last
Logs,
couple of years. Yeah. So anyone who doesn't know Sam, and this is what I know him. So then, rips on stand-up, big wave as well.
Yep.
He got scoop of the event. And some of the barrels he pulled into, like, as a typically a stand-up and use of the bergs, like that was next level.
But to Logs' credit, obviously pretty good surf lifesaver. Obviously a big wave charger out at Luna's on the stand-up. So he's an absolutely multifaceted, talented
And an
waterman.
epic ski driver as well.
Yep.
Yep.
Can pilot a ski.
Yep.
So all in all, they said they had made no sort of, what would you call it? They didn't make it any more than it needed to be, something. I think they were pretty happy with it. Yeah, you can always improve, but yeah.
Yep.
It was good to watch. Good to see.
So so Logs' biggest scoop. Joshy Keenan took out the event.
Yep.
Ross got best wipeout.
Yep.
I remember because I worked that day. I was bummed I couldn't get down there, and I saw the shots that Rodney put up. Big shout out to Rodney Harris, the absolute juggernaut behind the lens there. He's just got it dialed down there at Japs. And just that one frame of Ross at the bottom of that closeout, like Ross was basically below sea level. and that you could just see the curtain. It was thick. It was so thick. I remember calling Ross after I saw it, and he said, "Oh, mate," he goes, "the amount of sand that I had to rinse out of my arsehole was next
And
level."
then you're going to climb up those stairs as well.
But and mate, like when Japs is big, like a lot of people in bodyboarding probably would not have the opportunity to surf in beaches that are that heavy.
Yeah.
Like Japs, again, the raw energy, Vico in general, like we've just got energy coming straight off the Southern Ocean, you know, the closest continent is Antarctica, like those low pressure systems are next fucking level.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it sort of arcs back to what you guys were talking about with the World Tour and stuff like that, and you touched on something, and I said it at the Prezzo at that event. There's so many cool little pockets of excellence in bodyboarding, and this is my opinion going on at the moment. So then, you know, maybe it's not cohesion or they're not unified, whatever you like to call it, but the mere fact that they're happening is such a positive thing.
Yep.
You know, and if you just keep going that way, something's going to eventuate, whether you like it or not. Don't get me wrong, it needs direction and, you know, alliance and all the other stuff that goes with it, administration. But I just think the mere fact that there are things there. I think I use the terminology at that thing, you know, bodyboarding you could argue is borderline dead sort of thing, but it's been resuscitated and it's got a heartbeat. Yeah, there's a long way to go, but yeah, that was my opinion, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I still think Australia, in terms of bodyboarding health, is at the top of that chart compared to anywhere else in the world. Like, hands down, we run more domestic and grassroots events than anywhere else in the world. Like, that's an absolute given. But yeah, watch your space, I guess. And yeah, like, again, we said this before, like, take our hats off to all of those kind of grassroots guys that are doing what they're doing with those, whether it's club events, state events, memorial events, et cetera, and obviously with what Lukey and the team did with the Shark Eye, like, don't fucking stop, because yeah, it's what you're doing is great. Look, one more thing we want to touch base on before we wrap up this ep. I think we're at an hour and a half already. God, we talk shit, boys.
No, we had to do a proper catch up.
Yep.
We're good at talking shit.
But we've touched on this briefly in a couple of the topics. You know, there's a whole bunch of more wave pools coming up. And this is what I wanted to pick all of your guys' brains on. Like, I think the Dingley Village Surf Park, southeastern Melbourne. I think there's 3 proposed wave parks in South Australia alone. There's one, I think they've started digging holes in West Oz, in the suburb of Coburn. It's spelt Cockburn.
Cockburn.
Yeah. But, you know, a person I spend a lot of time talking to about events seems to genuinely believe that surf lakes up in Yeppoon will reopen to the public. I don't agree with that. I haven't seen any evidence to support that claim.
I drove past last week. There didn't seem to be too much.
Fucking dust bowl.
Yeah. Did you see the AI generated version?
Yeah. Why? Why wait?
Well,
false advertising.
How else are you going to drum up investment?
Was it working?
No, it hasn't.
They couldn't get it working in the AI version either.
No, it was an image. It was AI image. Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? If you can't get it working in AI. But first and foremost, obviously, Sydney Urban Surf is up and running. Yes, it's the same tech in Melbourne, but that's not a bad thing. Obviously, it's giving greater opportunities for people from the East Coast to get in the pool, utilise the pool, train in the pool, etc., and hopefully run some really cool concept events. I haven't had the privilege of going to Sydney yet. Shane, you've been there. Adam, you've been there. Chris, you haven't been there.
No, but I'd just like to...
you want to feel part of this conversation?
No,
right?
I just want to shout out to Urban Surf that they've copied our homework and look how successful it is in Sydney.
Boogie Nights.
Yeah,
Nights.
wow. Yeah.
So I'm just waiting for my shares for that idea.
Quick feedback, boys. Melbourne versus Sydney. What's better? What's worse? Where can they improve for their next location?
It is much better than Victoria.
What, the wave or the facilities? Because
Both.
what's wrong with the shipping containers?
Why is it?
And the chipboard.
Is it
It's a
because
properly built facility.
is it because Jacques isn't on the toilet?
No, he's in the toilet up there.
Is he?
Yeah, they use the same marketing everywhere.
Now there's a guy that deserves shares. Jacques deserves his shares.
World tour event.
No, I got to surf it twice when I was up there. Once at night and one in the morning. It was June, so I got back home. Like I spoke to the guys at the office on that day. I said, "What's the temp in the water today here, and what's the temp in the water in Victoria?" He said, "It's 18 in the water here, and it is 12 in the pool in Melbourne."
So it's a -5.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
So straight up, I surfed in a springy at night in Sydney.
Yep.
In June.
Okay.
So,
but that's an obvious, mate. Like we want to get down to the
but that is an obvious. Like it's in a much nicer environment.
if you don't like Victoria, fucking leave, mate. Yeah, fucking leave.
Now you're yelling at me.
I've had enough.
Much nicer environment. Facilities are all purpose built rather than shipping containers. Doesn't feel industrial. There's trees all around. There's natural wind barriers.
What are the natural wind barriers? Buildings.
No, trees and
Right.
the building.
Pile.
There's a what?
The overburden pile on the right hand side. It literally is with goats on it.
Jesus.
What they excavate? No, they've made like a windbreak. It's great.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is the restaurant pretty fancy? They'd serve a goat curry or something like that.
Wow.
Goat chips.
And the waves, I think, is better as
I
well.
think that's
There's
the
basically
question.
opportunity for double barrel. Like you can get barreled on the takeoff, come out of the barrel. There's a second section that you can get barreled on as well. Like
Right.
it's pretty good. Yeah, like it's better than Victoria.
So tell me,
Well, hang
The
on.
only-
We need Adam's
Do you want to
opinion
know
on this?
Actually, the worst thing though,
is the location.
that fucking booking system,
Oh,
Urban Surf.
you'd think
So,
after 5 years
There were
they've got it.
sessions. There were sessions available. Right, I'm trying the book. Try the book. At times out, couldn't book. I went to the facility to book my session. Oh, it looks like it's booked out. No, but online it says it's available, and it was available. It wasn't booked out, but they couldn't even work it out in their own office. Like the booking system is absolutely horrible.
They took something that kind of worked and we got used to, and they made it worse.
It's much worse. It's horrible.
Ads. Your 2 cents, mate.
Yeah. All right, the facility itself, yeah, while great, purpose-built, don't get me wrong, and that sort of stuff, but accessibility, Homebush is just the worst place to get to. Accommodation's pretty limited. That's by the by. I guess that's the drawback on it, where Melbourne's certainly got the advantage.
Yeah, I was lucky with that because I was staying at a mate, Brett Hanna's house, who's not too far away.
Yeah.
So that was lucky. Yeah. Especially, I guess if you're flying in purposely to surf it, Melbourne is easy because you got the motel across the road.
Yeah, well, I spent $200 on cabs.
You're right.
Wow.
Yeah, and I stayed at the Ibis, which is probably one of the closest motels to
Well,
it.
that's what I mean. I know
And how far was that?
About 10-minute cab ride.
Yeah.
because there's not really a direct public transport link.
No.
Obviously, there's the Western and Sydney Airport, but once that's up and running, it'll probably make things a bit easier. But that's not really.
It's way out.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
long way off.
Actually, the only bad thing as well, besides the booking system in Sydney, is it's got its own car park that you got to pay for.
That's fucked, mate.
And
That's
supposedly you get an hour comped.
Yep.
But there's no sign up saying that you get an hour comped or to get your ticket stamped at the door or anything like that.
How much was parking, out of curiosity?
Well, that's what I was going to
It's
say.
$15 an hour, I think. From
So-
memory. It cost me. I didn't know to get it stamped, and it cost me, I think, $32.
So
or something
let's say we do DKS in the pool
Yeah.
up there, and we have a bunch of people that drive in there, and we run for 4 hours. Like, let's say we run for what we did in Melbourne this year. Like, apart from the 3 hours of surfing, everyone catching up, hanging out.
Yeah.
Like, I reckon I got there at 11, and I was there until 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's a lot of.
And on top of that, accommodation with Victoria was like even all of us stayed in the motel across the road because we wanted to hang out with all the guys coming in from interstate.
Yeah.
So that was easy as well.
So is the parking charged by Urban
Yeah.
Surf or is that
No.
council parking?
It's the property's owned.
Bit of council. That's at the Olympic
Yeah.
Park precinct.
It's Olympic Stadium.
Fucking stupid. Do better.
Yeah.
Yep. This is the Benny quote of this podcast.
I had a guy, the guy that ran the security came up to the urban surf counter because at the time they'd only been going a week.
Yep.
And the parking guy said to the young girl that was just at the counter, he said, you've got to start telling your customers that it's only an hour free parking. And I turned around at him and said, no, that's not the case, mate. You're supposed to have a sign telling us, because we're your customer. I'm both your customer as a parking person, and I'm an urban surf customer. You're supposed to tell us as your customer how the parking system works. Crazy.
Tell me how you really feel.
Yeah. Other than the cost and its location, I think, my opinion, Melbourne's a better prone wave, particularly the right.
Yeah, right.
It's heavier and bigger. And there's been a lot of talk even online this week and the last couple of weeks since I've been up there, sort of following Sydney Urban Surfboard Rise, and they're talking about it. The left that set at Sydney is a sick DK wave. It's
because it's longer.
Longer, and it's got more of a section as you come out of the pit.
Right.
But that said, to me, it's too close to call.
Yeah, there is that second section, and you don't get that wrap in.
So the other question I've got for you.
Helmets?
No. So Sydney only runs 6-wave sets where Melbourne runs 12s.
Yep.
How did that go with 18 people in the water?
18 people, so I surfed 4 sessions.
Yep.
And I'm trying to think, I surfed advanced turns, which was 6 for the knee, and there was 18 people in that. It worked itself out. But
is it less wait time between sets?
About 90 seconds, I think they say.
Yeah.
You still get the same weight.
What is it in Melbourne then?
12-wave sets.
No, the wait between sets.
It varies. I think it's a minute,
Yeah,
maybe a bit more. But yeah, I think when you run, I know when Melbourne runs 6-wave sets, it's 27 sets, I think it is, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then when you run the 12-wave sets, it's, I can't even remember, 18 or something.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah, helmets aren't required. That's what I knew you're going to ask that, but it's I think it was just for the first couple of days while they fixed up their insurance.
Right.
Yep.
So even on expert, you don't have to wear helmets.
I don't believe so. No.
Okay. Good to know.
All
right. I think we should wrap this one up, boys.
Yep.
Before we do, I've got a couple of shout-outs to give. But any of you guys got some shout-outs? Do you want to start with Dan?
I got a long distance dedication.
Yeah.
No, I'm only joking.
did you say love song dedication?
Casey Kasem?
What?
Wow.
Well, that's because I'm the oldest person in the room. You guys don't even know who
I have
Casey is.
no idea.
Fucking hell. Get educated.
Do better.
Can you spell that?
Do better.
Yeah, obviously it's been a long time between drinks for us to have a chat, and a lot of shit's been happening in and around bodyboarding. A couple of people that I'm pretty close with in the sport have had a fair bit of shit going down. A good friend of mine, Brett McCaskill's been having a pretty rough time.
Shout out, Brady.
Of late, dealing with some personal health issues. I won't go into the details, but he's in really good spirits at the moment and in recovery. So big shout out to Brett McCaskill up on the Goldie. Also another really good buddy of mine, Richie Chileppi, incredibly talented photographer, living in Lennox Head. He's getting married right now, I think.
Oh.
No, tomorrow. Getting married tomorrow.
Really good friend, was he?
Yep.
Got an invite.
Yeah, got an invite. No,
Right.
mate, I had to turn it down. Robe.
Yep, same as Dylan, eh? You got turned down there.
Don't you fucking get me started on that guy. That's why he's not getting a shout out. And then for no other real apparent reason, I just want to give a shout out to our mate Brett Hanna for just being a fucking top bloke.
He loves it.
Yeah, mate,
He loves us. Mention him in the potty.
mate, we've seemed to have been spending a lot more time with him of late, and it's great. I need more Brett in my life.
Hey, just
You had a fair bit of Brett in your life, let's be honest.
Love him. We go way back. Way back.
are you still shouting out, or is it? Can we go?
I'll also give a shout out to Dan Redfern.
Who sat here the entire time.
Yeah, in silence.
Thought he was going to chime in at some point, but
He got extra beers for you, so
Yeah,
big shout.
cheers, Dan.
I didn't have any headsets.
So, one shout out I'd like to give is for Lockie McDonald. Just wrote a stellar article, for Swellnet about Josh Morgan, local legend. For those who don't know Josh, big wave charger. He's deaf and blind. He's got one eye, and he's got the biggest set of balls on him. Yeah. Like some of the waves I've seen him surf.
His wave skill set is
second to none. Yeah. I still remember times where there's I'm not going to mention the particular break. There's a break that is on a massive swell. He's quite good on the peninsula.
On the Mornington Peninsula. Cool. Where's it near? What other breaks is it near?
Rosebud Plaza. But
they shut that down in the 80s.
One day, on multiple times, Josh has paddled out there by himself, surfing out there by himself. Like, we're talking the dead of winter. It's 12, 15 foot, and it's quite a heavy wave, and he's out there by himself, and people have called up the police.
Yeah,
then the helicopters come out, and you can imagine it. He comes in. What the fuck is all the fuss about? Yeah. Like, he's deaf, blind, and he goes in, and he's like, he can't hear anything. He comes in, puts his hearing aids in, and away he goes. And
fuck yeah,
yeah. I got so much respect for Josh. He's just such a genuine bloke, and the one thing about Josh is he's so humble. Like, he'd be hating how much limelight's on him at the moment. Like, he just wants to do his thing and just fly under the radar. And also to Lockie, local surfer. He's been in the surfing industry for quite some time, and absolute legend of a bloke. And I tell you what, Lockie, I think your time in the surf industry, I think you should move out into journalism, get a job at The Age, because you do write a really good article. He wrote a really good one about Point Leo a little while ago as well, and how the sort of sands have changed. So, yeah, no, that was a really good article. I really enjoyed it, and shout out to those guys.
Wood. Shane, shout outs?
No one.
What about you? Yeah, exactly. You're definitely not giving your brother a shout out. Big shout out to Marky for going on a family holiday rather than being down here with us this weekend in Robe. He doesn't listen to our podcast anyway, mate. And one more shout out to my good mate Dave Heavyside. Our friendship is rekindled since our potty. We talk a lot. It's great.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Looking forward to another potty. All right. That's about it. On behalf of everyone here at the Closeout, obviously special thanks to you, Ads, for coming in on this one. And we're definitely going to be doing a one-on-one later on down the track. That's a podcast, that is. Podcast.
It's not an intervention.
It's not in the blow mold bathroom.
But until next time, stay positive, get barreled, and
do better.
Yeah, do better. Fuck, I'm gonna get in trouble, aren't I?
Can you spell that?
I'll take an A, thanks, Danny. But yeah, obviously, big thanks to everyone that makes this podcast possible. First and foremost, Sir Michael Jennings, that is. Obviously, Sammy Watson still does a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Rob Porteous. I know Marky does some work as well, so thanks, Marky. And to you blokes. Cheers.
Cheers.
See you next time.